This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome. Oh my gosh, what a great show we're going to have today. There's been so much stuff. Meg and I are just talking behind the scenes while the intro is ramping up, and a renewed energy, right, Meg?
That's right, renewed energy, baby. You know what? When you got time off, you're sitting around, you're talking to yourself. Yeah, that's what I find, Colt. I'm talking to myself. I'm doing podcasts in the shower, talking to literally to the shampoo bottle. I wanted to put a pair of glasses on it, so I pretended it was you. So I was just like, well, there's Colt in the corner. That's Colt conditioner, and that's Colt shampoo. And then, well, we won't talk about where the Colt bar of soap ended up on my body. But anyways, that's another story. Anyways, listen, we are back on the air. We are here. We got a great chat going on already. I want to see some funny stuff going on in the chat today, baby. Let's go. We got a great show. We got a lot to talk about.
We do, and I'm picturing a Pert Plus bottle with glasses on in the corner of your shower, and you're doing a podcast in the nude with Colteastwood. I think correct. We might have to do an episode like that. I think that might people might actually be enjoying that show if we were
$14.99 a month. OnlyFans, the Colt and Mag. By the way, everybody in the chat. Oh, Mag sounds like a Transformer. Do I?
No, not to me, but maybe it's just an internet thing that'll smooth out. I wonder, I did unplug something, and I was like, oh, I hope everything works. Let me look and make sure. Say something again. Don't mess with your stuff. It would probably be on my end. But go ahead and talk. That would be nice.
Mag sounds odd. Well, I always sound odd if that makes you feel any better. So my mom always says it.
Yeah, somebody said we might be getting Colts. Let me listen really quick. And I was like, oh, I hope everything works. Let me look and make sure. Say something again. Don't mess with your stuff. It would. I got to go back. Say something again. Don't. An internet thing that'll smooth out. I wonder, I did unplug something, and I was like, well, that's too bad, because I wouldn't be able to fix that on the fly, but it just sounds a little bit echoey, like a reverb.
That's strange. That's really strange.
What happened was I shut my PC down while I was on vacation, and I hate shutting it down because something will always go wrong. And when I brought it back on, it wouldn't come back onto my TV, so I unplugged the HDMIs. And last time I did that, it was completely messed up. But I'm looking here, and all the sources are the same. But I don't know what to do about it other than just kind of deal with it, I suppose.
Well, if it's really that bad, then I'll back out and come back in, and I checked the settings are all the same on this end. I didn't unplug anything.
Sure. I'm sure. Who knows? Who knows why it would be doing that? But Sean LeBrie goes, computer love. So
I'm here for the all spark. There we go. If I'm gonna be a transformer, I might as well be a transformer.
So while you're talking like a transformer, I'll take a look at a couple things. I don't even know if I'd be able to fix it without completely destroying something, but. What have you been playing, Mag, during the week? I've got a lot to catch up on.
Well, yeah, that take me to your leader. Yeah, you're good, Mag. Just letting you know. Someone says it. I guess it worked itself out, but I don't know. XNC roll out. There you go. True 77.
I did change something just now. I saw that my Stream Deck that I was using to push audio sounds looked like it had your mic on there as well. So it will take about 30 seconds for the chat to let us know if your voice has stopped echoing. So keep talking for a second, and then let us know, chat.
Kirk Adams as Magatron. I think that's the greatest name ever. In fact, I'm going to get somebody to make a picture of me as Magatron. I think that's a really funny idea. Thank you for that. Now, here's the thing.
Megatron.
What I've been playing. Yeah, Megatron. That's really funny. Yeah.
I think we got it fixed. I got it fixed for you, Meg.
Okay. Well, you know what? Now I'm going to talk like a robot for the rest of the show. So, anyway, all seriousness, I've been playing Lies of P on the Xbox. That's right, folks. Can you imagine? On the XNC podcast, the XNC co-host is playing his Xbox, and he's back on Game Pass. Isn't that exciting? So, I'm not always a pony. So I'm back on Game Pass. I'm playing Lies of P. I'm enjoying it very much. It is, well, you know what? Now I'm going to reference this PlayStation. If you played Bloodborne, then you have a basic idea of what you're looking at here. Just better graphics, a little bit smoother gameplay, because Bloodborne's a little bit dated, right? But the idea is the same. This is not a Dark Souls-ish game. I mean, it's a Souls game or Souls-like game, but it plays very much like Bloodborne. That being the case, I'm having fun with it. I'm about 4 bosses deep. I think I'm on the 5th level now of the game, and I think there's only 7. Chad, help me out. If there's sorry, the chat is still cracking jokes. They're really funny about Klingons and stuff. I don't know how many levels. I don't know how many levels are in the game. I haven't looked it up, but I think there's 7, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, playing that, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enthralled by it. It's tough as nails. It's tough, man. It's tough. But I'm also playing Ada Wong's Separate Ways, the Resident Evil 4 DLC. And boy, I got to tell you, what a treat. First of all, I'm a Resident Evil nut, okay? I adore the Resident Evil games. I 100% all of them on Xbox and on PlayStation. I'll get the 1,000 out of 1,000, and I'll get the platinums on all of them. And I'm actually going to go back because there's a couple I got the platinums on PlayStation. So I did on Xbox. I got my 1,000s. I'm going to go back for the month of October, and I'm going to platinum the rest of them, 7 and 8 and RE4 Separate Ways. I'm going to platinum all of those in October, in celebration of Halloween. So I'm going to do that. Separate Ways is a fantastic thing. Now, the funny thing is, I didn't realize it was that big of a DLC. It was only like $13.99 Canadian, which is about, whatever, $10 American, give or take. So I thought it was only going to be like an hour or 2 hours. My first run, I finished it, but I'm going to go back and do 3 more runs. But I did 6.5 hours on my first run. And I'm like, this is a full-fledged game. Yeah, dude, it was like a full-fledged game. Like, I went around, I got all the collectibles, whatever, and, kick all the barrels and all that nonsense. Great time, and I gotta say, God bless you, Capcom, for making it third person, just for this one, even though I love the first person in 7 and 8, making it third person in this one, so I could stare at Ada Wong's behind the entire time, is such a delight, and such a treat, with those high heel boots and that dress. My goodness, thank you very much, Capcom, for keeping it real, and I just unlocked her evening dress for round 2, so you best believe I'm going to be playing all the next run-through in her evening gown. So thank you very much for that, Capcom. Greatly appreciated. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. Colt, what have you been playing, sir?
I'm just laughing at you playing dress-up in a video game, Wow. I love that stuff. I am a sucker for dressing up my characters and getting them on the coolest looking gear or the sassiest looking gear. I love that. I've been dabbling in Starfield, but I think I'm mostly done with the game for now.
Okay. Well, geez, Colt, you put in 200 plus hours.
200 plus hours. I've pretty much done a full playthrough twice. And I think I've done everything the game has to offer at that level anyway. But I got to tell you guys about the Crew Motorfest, which Ubisoft sent me a code for the game, and I'm not going to bore you with talking about a racing game, but I cannot help but realize that Ubisoft Ivory Tower's Crew Motorfest does many, 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 many things better than even my favorite Forza Horizon. The attention and the themed things and what they put in each race and just the feel, well, of course, Forza Horizon 5 looks way better, feels way better, but just the attention to, let me just say this, okay? So I did this vintage garage playlist, and you had to drive like an old Cadillac Eldorado and then an old Corvette, and it was supposed to be set in the 50s, and you're on the island of Hawaii in this game. And they actually changed the game, and they had you go across these historic landmarks. And in the corner of the game, they would put a photograph of a landmark that would tell you where to turn. Like, look for this hotel, and you got to take a left. And that would pop up while this old 60s music was playing. And it just continued to go through the playlist this way with this attention to detail. The Electric Odyssey playlist, which has you drive hyper electric EV cars, has this purple lane of electricity that you drive over to charge up your turbo or your boost, I guess. And there are these electric things everywhere, and they just flood the game with the theme that you're playing in. And I feel like Forza Horizon and Playground doesn't do that as much as they used to. But I'm just trying to say that if you get a chance, you see this game for like $40 and you like Forza Horizon, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. They did a really good job. The reviews on it, Mag, are in the mid 70s. And I'm just like, this game deserves an 8 something. It just kind of makes me a little bit miffed about how reviews have been coming in lately.
Dude, you hyped that up so much. I was about to hit the air horn like full tilt and just like go off like a dance club, and then all of a sudden you're like, but it hit mid 70s, and I was like, oh
no, but it's really good. And just to back it up, Randolph Thor and I were both playing it. We both got a code the same week, and he's like, this game's really, really good. We both enjoyed it a lot. And then when we see the scores, we're like, how do people get this wrong? It's just a really good game, and I love Forza Horizon so much, but there's just things that Ivory Tower did that Playground doesn't do, and I gotta tip the hat. Like, anyway, it's just really good to see, man. Which is good, Mag, because we want Playground to push harder on the next one.
That's what, you know what, the thing is, you do not want the champ. Anybody see Rocky 3 out there? I know it's old, and a lot of people, you weren't even born yet. But like, hey, you know what happens when you become complacent? When you're the champ and you become complacent, you become slow and sloppy. And then Mr. T comes along and beats the crap out of you because he's hungry, right? He's hungry and he wants the title. That's what Playground needs. And Turn 10. They need people knocking at the door going, hey, we want to challenge you to this. And then it's going to make Playground / Turn 10, whatever. It's going to make them even better. Right? Because they're going to go, yo, someone's nipping at our heels right now, and that game is pretty hot. It's hitting 70s now, but if they tweak it, the next one could be like an 88 or an 89. Guys, let's step it up and go even further, if that's even possible with the Forza series, because, I mean, they are the kings. But
they are.
It's great, but it is great that someone's challenging them. I encourage that because I want competition. Competition breeds excellence, baby, and that's what we want as consumers. We all win, right? I want Sony and Xbox to be at each other's throat with who's got the better game, right? Because then it's just going to keep getting better and better. Because all of a sudden, let's say Sony releases whatever, they release Spider-Man and it's hot, and then Xbox releases Senua's Saga and it's hot. And then Jim goes back to what's it called, Sucker Punch, and goes, guys, Ghost of Tsushima 2 has to be better than this.
Yeah.
This. And then he shows it on the screen with a PowerPoint. And then those guys go back and go, God damn it. And then they make it better than Senua. You know what I'm saying? And then they make it better than Senua's Saga. And then Xbox comes back. This is how it goes, and that's the best thing that we could possibly ask for, right? So, anyways, I'm glad. Long story longer. I'm glad that you're enjoying the crew. It sounds like fun, and it sounds like the kind of thing that I'd like to dabble in. But, however, we are swamped with excellence right now. Isn't it wonderful time to be a gamer?
We are. I mean, just to say that I'd kind of like finished my Starfield play, and then I'm like, let me do this Crew Motorfest thing, and I played it for like a week and a half straight. But I'm just glad to see Ubisoft like make something that really surprised and delight, because I want them to continue to do better, because they make really cool things that don't always like get into the masterpiece echelon. And for those of you wondering about the Crew Motorfest, like when you play it, it will not feel as good as Forza Horizon. Not at all. Like the cars feel a little greasy on the road. They feel way too light. The best way to explain it is every car feels like half the weight it should be. So there's kind of that arcade, but not in the best way. And the visuals look really, really nice, but they don't look as crisp and as awesome as Forza. But like we're saying, like Mag, like that, it's really good to see a team step up and like try and reach the echelons of the best of the best. And I tip the cap to them. I really do. Good. So anyway.
You know what? I think Ubisoft is going to have a great year, because it looks like they really stepped back. Remember the last couple of years they kind of stumbled a bit, and they were throwing some things at the wall to see what would stick. Didn't really stick.
Some stuff didn't even come out to be stuck.
Yeah. And there was a couple of good games that they had. There was with the launch of the Series X and PS5 was Assassin's Creed Valhalla was a great game. I love that game. And then they had that other one. Watch Dogs Legions was okay. It was passable for me.
Yeah.
But the other one that was great was that one. Actually, Zocker was the one who got me on that game because I watched one of his videos and he was talking about it. Damn it! It was the one that takes place in the Greek gods one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I'm trying to Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Word, yeah. Yeah, and I played most of that.
Loved that game. I put in about 60 hours in that game. I thought it was a lot of fun. Now this year they've got the Crew Motorfest looking good. They've got Assassin's Creed Mirage looking fantastic, and it's going to be like a smaller, more focused game. And then they've got Avatar at the end of the year in December.
Yes.
So that's three great titles. And I got to tell you, Avatar's looking really good. Guys, don't sleep on that one. I think it's going to be a hot title. I think.
What do you think it's going to be? What do you think the Avatar game's going to be?
I mean, I think it's going to be like a Far Cry in Pandora.
That's what I'm hoping.
That's what, and I mean, it's a 2-player. It's a co-op. You can play co-op, first person, open world in Pandora. That's the only thing I can think of. I think it's going to be like a Far Cry. It's going to have a little bit of a. It's not going to be how Far Cry's kind of got like some serious stuff, but it's also a little bit silly and whatever. It's got some. Saints Row type missions where you get the cows to mate or whatever, and in Far Cry 5. You don't remember that? And then they had there was I swear I'm not making this up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It was the mission. You had to get the cows to mate, and then the cows are all doing what they're doing. They're all mating, and then all of a sudden,
Far Cry 5's really good, really good.
Let's Get It On starts playing, and I'm like, what the hell is happening? But anyways, they're great. So I think Pandora is going to be a Far Cry Avatar is going to be Far Cry in Pandora. I'm looking forward to it.
That's what
and
I'm
it's
hoping.
in a great time of year when everybody's gone through all the big games, right? The only other big game between now and then, December, first week of December.
Yeah.
And then before that, we've got Call of Duty in November, and then and then Mirage is somewhere in the mix. I can't remember where. But either way, it might be a nice Christmas game or a holiday game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking Avatar is going to be like a 7, and I'm going to end up loving it. That's my prediction. The way things have been going lately with games, these games come out and they get a 7, like Dead Island 2 or like Gotham Knights, which I know a lot of people didn't love, but I ended up really liking it for what it was. Like I knew, right? We knew that. Right? You know what I mean when I say you knew, right? Chat, help us out.
Yeah, the chat, you guys know. Yes, D83, I do like Five Guys burgers. I don't know where the hell that came from. Right in the chat, I just glanced down. I see Dreamcast guy loves Starfield, and then all of a sudden I look and I see anyone like Five Guys burgers. Yes, you know what I like about Five Guys burgers? They pour the fries in the bag after they fill your thing, and then they pour a scoop of fries in the bag so you can have bag fries. That's a great feature. Alan Wake 2, Lone Wolf Gamer. Yes, we could go on all day about the amazing games that are coming out in the next month or so. So
hey,
I'm excited.
All of this, and people are still whining nonstop on socials and on podcasts. And there was a whole supposed hit piece on either Oh No It's Alex Fertinga or MBG, where MBG said that these guys are toxic and they're losers. And I look back at X&C, and we don't run a perfect podcast, but Mag, I really feel like that 90% of the time you and I are talking about what we're excited about or what's coming, right? I mean, that's really most of the conversations you and I have on the show, don't we? Or
yes, I don't know. And the thing is, I could speak for myself and for you. I can speak for you too. We don't go after individuals ever. Right. Even if individuals go after us, and you know what? We both get it. We both get the heat. You get the heat, I get the heat, and whatever. It is what it is. But hey, you know what? I don't go after individuals, and at the same time, anybody tags me in that kind of stuff, I just ignore it or I just mute it because then it gets in this console war nonsense. And this is not the time. And I was actually gonna Percolator. I see what you're writing in there. Hey, calm down. The guy saying shots because obviously I'm saying anyways a lot, right? So he's probably wasted by now. Anyways.
Yeah,
go have another shot, Perk. I just said anyways. Have another shot.
I was talking to Red Wolf, who was on our show a couple weeks ago, and he was listening back, looking for a moment of something that you and I said. And I said, has Mag said, I see what you said. And he goes, he literally just said that as I was rewatching the show, and we had a good laugh.
It's the old eyes. I could still see all the comments, the snarky comments in the chat.
The 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah. Oh, I love it though. I love it. I love the snarkiness. I love it. Bring it on, man. I think it's so much fun. As long as it's funny.
So Meg and I don't talk about other people, but I do have to bring up Colin Moriarty's complaint because a lot of spicy stuff came from these leaks from Xboxers Will Cover. And one of them was Phil Spencer saying, quote, Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming and that getting Nintendo would be a career moment. And I honestly believe a good move for both companies, close quote. And Colin Moriarty said on his podcast, Sacred Symbols, that Microsoft is soulless and they want anything they can get their hands on. So I don't know if you've looked into this, Mag, or if you remember this email from 3 years ago where Phil said Nintendo's good get, but he finishes up that email by saying, quote, I don't think it would be a good move. And then he says hostile takeover wouldn't be a good idea. But what's your thoughts on Phil saying, let's get Nintendo?
You know what? There's a lot of things that people say just to say them. You know what I mean? Like it's part of conversation. Or it could be like a wish list thing. Or, I could be sitting around having a couple beers with my friends and I could just randomly say something like, man, I really want a Sea-Doo. Like, I want a Sea-Doo. And then my wife will say something like, would you stop? You're not getting a Sea-Doo. And I'm like, but I really want a Sea-Doo. And she's like, we can't afford one. Right? And then we just stupid things like that.
Yeah.
These guys are just firing off emails to each other. I don't think any of that was dead serious. Those are pipe dreams at best. Nintendo's not selling to anybody. They are in their own world. They treat their company, actually, if you look at it, they treat their company like a toy company, not a video game company, not a software and a hardware company.
Oh, yeah.
They treat it like a toy company. And if you actually look at the business design of how Nintendo operates, you could look at another company like, for example, at least still in Canada, we still have Toys R Us here, right? You look at the business model and how they run, it's the same. They don't go down in price. They don't devalue over time. Like, for example, like software, Microsoft or Sony or Valve or whatever, and third-party publishers can release games, and after a month they lose their value, right? And then it starts to go down over time. They devalue over time. You could buy a Nintendo game from 8 years ago. It's the same price, right? They treat it like a toy. A teddy bear 5 years ago is $20. 5 years later, the teddy bear is still $20. They treat it the same because they're not marketing to people who are into the software. They're marketing for generally a younger crowd, a collector's crowd. A lot of their stuff is still on the physical side of things, believe it or not.
Like something you buy because you have to have it, right?
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, I bought Tears of the Kingdom physical.
It's still wrapped.
I don't buy. It's still wrapped. And I'm not even joking. Guys, I'm looking at the camera. You see the camera? Look. It's still wrapped. Okay? I haven't even they took my $100 and they laughed all the way to the bank. So for someone like me, I never even opened the thing. Sure, I'm a fraud. Great. But when I finally get to that, the thing is my kids are also playing Switch all the time, right? They play like, what the hell is that stupid game? I hate that game. Oh, it drives me nuts.
Animal Crossing?
No, the one where everybody punches each other. What the hell is it called?
Oh, Smash Brothers.
Super Smash. Yeah, Smash Brothers. I hate that game. Ugh.
I'm too old for that. Sorry.
It's so
I'm an old man.
I tried it. I just not my bag.
You and I are the old Muppets up in the balcony going, like Smash Brothers. Well, speaking of what you're saying about Nintendo, their games and their hardware just never slows down its mass appeal or its market value. So, like you're referring to like Mario Kart 8 is like 7 years old and it's still $60. Is it because people just don't stop buying that?
That's correct. They don't stop buying it. And if you actually look at some of the games now, I can tell you right now that for the first half of the next generation of the Switch 2, when it comes out, half of those games are going to be Switch 1 games that have been slightly, maybe somewhat touched up a little bit for the Switch 2. But other than that, they just, like, half the games that my kids have, like the Mario games and whatever else, those were Wii U games.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like you look at all these Mario games, like these 3D Mario platformers and whatever else, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, and it says in the corner, it says, Wii U made for Switch from Wii U or whatever the hell it says. There's like a little thing in the corner. It says, it tells you what. So I'm like, what the hell is this? They don't devalue and whatever. Anyway, the point is, I'm ignoring all that. The point is that Phil and
I saw what you said,
Xbox,
Witness.
Microsoft, Yeah. Oh, you tried it, eh, Colt? You tried it. Yeah, the doctor. I see what you said.
It feels
too.
good. He said Mag and Colt bought the cardboard. They're true gamers. Remember the Nintendo Switch cardboard? It was called like it was
Labo.
the worst number. It was like Nintendo Labo.
Hey, careful what you say there, Colt. You don't want to get demonetized. It's
It's like the worst word ever. I'm like, the what now?
It's the Labo. Labo.
Labo.
We're not going to call it never mind. We're not going to say that word, folks, okay? We can save that for Nuke
Chat,
Nukem.
keep it clean. Yeah, keep it clean.
Keep it clean. All right. Just
Your little cardboard toy.
The cardboard toy, the Nintendo Labo. I never bought it. But the thing is, Microsoft never had a chance with Nintendo. Nintendo is very content with where they're sitting and how they're doing. And if you still look at the hardware and the software sales, they still dominate. They destroy, like even now, like I saw the last figures of the last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Xbox is doing better.
Yeah.
Sony's doing what Sony does. But here comes Nintendo, like still crushing like millions of units of the Switch.
Yeah, they're still pulling a profit, but they're like in fourth place or I don't know what it was on that chart that came out. I didn't even share it this time. There's too much mess going on with that.
Okay, but Colt, but after how many years did they end up in fourth place or third place, right?
Well, I mean, you made a good point that they're doing it with the Switch, which is 6 years old or whatever.
Yeah,
which is awesome.
Chat, of course, they had to put put the word in the chat. I saw you roll that lone wolf. That's great. Yeah, that's really funny. Anyway, we're enjoying that. That's really fun.
let me go back to Colin, because Colin's like immediate reaction was anger and disgust, and I think he used the word disgusting. He said they're soulless. They want to buy up everything. I don't want to combat that because I think that's an emotional reaction, really. Where Xbox bought Bethesda, and then ABK came to Xbox and said, "Please buy us. We're in a purchase position where this is a good price." And I don't know. It kind of goes back to the organic argument, Mag, where Xbox and PlayStation don't make games; their studios do. And you have to have a bunch of great studios, and we're going to talk about today how Xbox is going to continue to money hat games, aka pay studios to make them temporarily, like PlayStation's been doing. Are you ready for that, Mag?
Yeah, and the thing is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you do it or how you get to the finish line, as long as you get to the finish line and the customers are the ones, in the end, who actually benefit from it. That's all that matters to me. I don't care about anything else. I don't care if it's organic. I don't care if the games are farm to table. I don't care if they're non-organic. Okay? I don't care if they're GMO free or if they're gluten-free games. I just want games. And you out there listening, that's all you should care about. You shouldn't care about anything else.
You know what's funny is the studios don't care. The studios and the employees working there don't care if they're farm to table, or I want to say farm to fork. That sounds more fun, right? Like if you work for Obsidian, you don't care who acquires you. You care that your studio head says, we've got money coming in. We can start green lighting these projects. And if you're a consumer, like you said, Mag, so beautifully, you should be caring about, am I getting games that I'm going to enjoy? Oh,
That's it. That's all that matters in the end. You are a consumer. You do not work for these companies. You are not getting a Christmas bonus from Aaron Greenberg if you're posting shots of you doing this on Twitter. Okay? You're not, or if you're gonna do the pony thing. Well, maybe he might pay for your breakfast the next time you see him in Beverly Hills. But that's a whole other story. Gold is getting paid off. Anyway,
I'm so mad you didn't go, by the way. I'm still mad.
Dude, it's
next time.
Hey, man, I was in the Dominican. Everything was well. I mean, assuming California's still there next year. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It might slip into the. I don't know. I saw 2012, the movie. It was, Anyway, here's the thing. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where these games come from, how they come from, whether you money hat them, whether you purchase them, whether you acquire them, whether they come to you, you come to them, whatever. you, the consumer, sits down on the couch or at a desk or whatever, and you turn on your PC or your consoles or your phone or whatever you're going to play on, and if you have access to that game, you then fork over your money to said person, and then you play the game. That's all that should matter. Everything else is just semantics. You're just running in circles, arguing and talking about absolute nonsense. I turn off, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Not my dear friends, of course, because the ones that I listen to are actually great podcasters and have great shows. There are a lot of shows that I have delved into just to say, let me give this guy a try, or this gal a try, or these guys a try. I turn them off. And you know why I turn them off? Because we should be talking about the fun we're having, because this is fun. Before I did the show tonight, okay, I was just wrapping up my first run of Separate Ways, as I was telling you. I was having a blast. Yesterday, I played Lies of P for a couple of hours. I was having a blast. And I can't wait, which another thing I'm sure we'll talk about later. I can't wait for Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I just re-downloaded it on Xbox because I bought what's it called? I bought Cyberpunk on Xbox, so I re-downloaded it there, and then I purchased the DLC. So I'm ready to rock there, and I can't wait to see what CD Projekt Red has brought to the table with the 2.0 update. Super excited. This is what we should be talking about. This is what the chat should be talking about. Not that arguing about dollars and cents. Who cares? You don't make that money. No, I don't make that money. Colt does it. Well, Colt sometimes makes that money. Don't listen to him. But in all seriousness,
I don't know.
We're here for fun. We're here for fun.
I know, and I look back at all of the games I've played on PlayStation, or when we talk about the lists of what's exclusive, and if you want to talk about what PlayStation has provided over the past couple of years, people say, well, the only thing they got for first party is Spider-Man. That's because PlayStation has loaded their system with money-hatted games, with third-party. They've got the Final Fantasy trilogy. They got Final Fantasy 16. Yeah. They've got studios they just purchased that are making games. They've got games coming up from studios they've just bought. Like, this is the reality. And you're right. Like, we shouldn't be caring about... I didn't care about how amazing Forza Horizon 3 was. Playground didn't belong to PlayStation or to Xbox back then. I didn't care. All I knew was Playground made a great game on my favorite platform. Actually, Forza Horizon 3 is one of my favorite games ever. And that's really what matters. And to hear somebody like Colin say they're soulless, they'll buy anything, when it only takes 30 seconds to read the rest of the... Not even that. 13 seconds to read the rest of the email where Phil says, let me go back to it, even though I was closing this up, I don't think it would be a good move, and we don't want to do a hostile takeover of Nintendo. This move,
right? They were just talking.
Even if just talking, but you don't buy the golden goose. Like, you set that up perfectly. Nintendo would never sell, and of course, Phil's like, yeah, having the biggest house would be the coolest thing ever. But I don't think it's a good idea, and it's just unfortunately, to Colin's credit, this is a business email. It's not like Phil was sitting on a lawn chair, flicking boogers into the pool. No, this is like a real conversation that was had that is like declarable through public disclosure at this point.
Well, yeah, and that was never supposed to get out. I mean, think about how embarrassing. Think about how embarrassing it would be if someone got a hold of all the private conversations that we have in the background, not just you and I, but let's say us and other YouTubers and things like that. Can you imagine if that got out in the public, of all the stuff that we talk about in the background, saying, it'd be awesome, this, that, and this. It would be even better if this guy did this, that, and the other thing. It'd be pretty damn embarrassing.
You know what I say behind the scenes?
Not reality.
You know what I say behind the scenes when X&C isn't rolling or when I'm not making a video? I'll say things to Mag like, man, I wish Xbox would just buy PlayStation, get it over with, just to see the tears and the cloven hooves clomping for days. Now, I'll make jokes like that behind the scenes, or we'll be in a party chat, and I'll make a joke like, man, if Phil just bought Jim Ryan and brought him over, that would be hilarious. And they're all jokes. I don't make a business email like that, but for real, seriously, Xbox buy PlayStation.
It's just like the Capcom thing, and it was like, you see the Capcom, they're like, oh, we would politely decline. Just shut up, no one's buying you. Okay, you're not selling.
I want to ask you about that in a minute. I want to ask you about that one in a minute because that one's pretty funny. Let me get a couple supers here. New Soul 9 with a $5. Thank you, New Soul. He says, Colt, do you believe Microsoft will do a round table once the ABK deal is finished? If so, do you believe they'll speak about the leaks at the round table as well? No, I don't think they would speak about leaks, but Mag, they would probably do a big what to do or something when the ABK is officially done, right?
Sure, that's gonna happen. What you talk about when they sit around with lattes around sit around the fire in their comfy little couch and they talk about stuff.
They sit around the pool and they're like,
they'll do that. They'll do that at some point, but who knows when? It's still not going to be till 2024. So everybody, keep your pants on. All right. So let's calm down. Carry on.
Yeah. Okay. BT Maverick 707. Thank you for the 5. He says, "What's up, guys? So PS5 discless. IGN says great idea. Xbox Series X discless. IGN says into physical media. Media's back at it on their SEO clicks again." Oh, I do not go with the whole media bias, but lately the double standard has been very strong. BT, we're going to get into talking about that digital Series X in just a few minutes. Happy Hitman with the €2 says, "Tots on Destin not covering the Starfield post-launch." Tots on Destin not covering Starfield post-launch. Now, if Destin probably hasn't made Starfield content because he doesn't feel like it's going to do a lot, and I would agree. I don't know. I just don't make that. Destin and I kind of make the same type. If you're making news videos, there isn't a lot to say about Starfield post-launch. I don't know if you've given that any thought, Mag.
I mean, is he playing it?
Of course, and I'm sure he's probably played it out and he's kind of moved on, or he's done. Maybe. I am.
Did he review? Did he review the game? I can't even remember. There's so many reviews So I mean, if he reviewed it, that means he probably finished it before the game actually even came out. So there's a distinct possibility he might have just finished the game, got it over with, and then moved on to something else. Because these guys, especially the bigger guys, they're busy. They're getting codes left, right, and center that they've got to They've got to move on. They got to keep moving and they don't got time. So the only one that I know sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the only one that I know that takes their time, and I'll give him credit for that, even though people don't like him. But I mean, obviously someone likes him because the guy's got, however many millions of subs. Angry Joe. Joe takes his time. He takes his time, and he doesn't release a review for a game until a month after the game comes out, because he will literally exhaust every avenue of the game and actually sit down and play it and do it with his own money. He doesn't get codes from any of them. He buys it himself. He does his thing. He plays it. He enjoys it or hates it, whatever. And then he does the review. And then from there, then he'll move on to something else. And that's why he doesn't do so many reviews, because you're not actually enjoying and properly, consuming the game, so to speak, right? So you're not by taking your time like that, you're able to get a proper, well-rounded review, right? So who the heck knows? Anyways, I don't know if Colin might have just did it, ripped through it in a week, and then just said, forget it, I'm done.
I'd like to say it. Yeah, I'd like to say something on that. Let me try and shoehorn this in first. Destin knows that his IGN group is doing tips and tricks and guides and all kinds of different content. So why would he want to compete with that on his personal channel? That's probably why he's not making content. But when you say reviewing and enjoyment of the game, I don't know if I said this on my show a couple of weeks ago, but I really do feel that my review period time sucked a lot of the enjoyment out of the game at many moments where I felt time constrained. I felt pressured. I felt like I had to get through a certain part and get toward. I feel bad when I say this because I've said this in a couple of parties and people get quiet, but it's a very big privilege to get a game like Starfield early. But for me to say, when I'm reviewing and I feel like I can't really enjoy the game and people are sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I would have given anything to play the game early. But let me move that into a discussion with you, Mag, about how journalists and industry reviewers seem to be quite a bit jaded this past 5 to 10 years, where there are so many games. I'm trying to set this up for you before I give you the mic. There's so many games they're playing, because you were saying this just a second ago, right? About how they're moving on to the next thing. Codes are coming in. And I got two questions for you. Are reviewers jaded and too harsh on games sometimes? And do you feel like they give the game their all or finish it? Can you tackle those two things, Mag?
Yes. And this is what this literally ties into what I was just talking about with the Angry Joe situation, right? By the way, Hysterical Husky, he says Mag's be spazzing. I kept going like this while you were talking or whatever. I just finished working out right before the show. I always do this 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. I do a hard workout and then I do the show. So my back is actually, the muscles are starting to tighten and spasm a bit. Geez. I keep going like this. So when I sit in the chair, I keep going like this to loosen myself up. It's pretty funny. So people see me. I should probably turn the mic off or the camera off when I'm doing that. Anyways, back to the story.
Hey man, we're old. You're allowed to stretch and do whatever you have to do on camera.
At least I'm crushing the iron, man. That's the way to go. So here's the thing.
Do I have to remind you what the question is, old man?
No. People are not giving the games enough time and effort and to really give their full attention in order to truly understand what the developer or what the storyteller is trying to say or trying to portray to you or trying to make you feel or emote or whatever, right? And that is why, and I've talked about this before on this very show, and like I said, the exact same thing about Angry Joe. He will review, and someone else asked if Angry Joe's done a review on Starfield. No, he hasn't. You know why? You're probably not going to see it till mid-October, maybe late October, because he's going to give it the time it deserves. When I play a game, I will either get the 1,000 out of 1,000, or I will platinum it if I'm playing it on Xbox or PlayStation. Jeez. Because I want to get every single nuance of every single feature of every single thing they put in that game. Even if it's tedious, I want to see how much effort and how much time they put into it. I appreciate the game that much more. Now, I don't do that for every single game because I don't buy every game, because there's games I know I'm not going to like. For example, Baldur's Gate 3, I know everybody's talking about it's the hotness. I cannot play for the life of me. I cannot do turn-based RPG, whatever games. It's just not my bag, right? So I'm never going to touch that game. But other games that I know I'm going to buy, I will get the 1,000 out of 1,000. I will get that platinum. I will get the 100% completion, whatever it is, right? So by doing that, once that trophy, the platinum trophy pops, or the achievement pops, my final achievement, let's say whatever, it was like 100 points, it's that feeling of, man, that was awesome. Man, I really got to. Thank you for the experience. One of the best completions I've done in a long time, besides AC Valhalla, was Psychonauts 2 for Xbox. I thought that was one, so far, believe it or not, that's actually one of my games of the generation for Xbox specifically, was Psychonauts 2.
It's a special game.
I think it's one of the best. I think it's the best game they've released this generation. That's my hot take. So that's just me. And when I finished that and I got that 1,000 out of 1,000, I put that controller down and I just like wandered around the house for like 10 minutes feeling lost, because I was like, that was what a magical experience. Now, the thing is, because I did that, imagine me sitting down and writing a review. You're going to get a full, unadulterated review of every single nuance that the game offered, because I spent the time to do so. The problem with the reviewers now, first of all, half of them aren't even like actual journalists. These are just guys with cell phones, okay? Everybody with cell phone sitting on a bus, and they're sitting there writing a clickbait article or whatever, and everybody goes insane on Twitter about it, or whatever, on YouTube, right? That's, half of them, they can't even spell, for Christ's sake. They can't even, proper grammar.
I mean, a lot of these guys are on Metacritic, but this is what I'm kind of referring to. But.
Okay, all right, but them too. They're a lot of them are no better. But just because Kotaku is not, it's not, those guys could just be like some 17-year-old kid farting around on his cell phone or whatever, 18-year-old.
Yeah,
I don't know,
like
but the point is
32.
Well, that's even more pathetic. But anyway, besides the point, here's the thing. They're getting too many games, and they're doing too many things, and they're not giving the games enough time. That's the problem. You're not getting enough time. You're ripping through it, you put out a review, and then you piss off to the next one. Right? And that's not fair to the developers. That's not fair to the people who put out the publishers, the people who put out the game, who put in thousands of hours of their time or whatever, and all you do is you just like, you just rip through it and then you just move on. It's like you going into a restaurant. I develop a menu, let's say for like whatever, and some guy comes in, takes 2 bites, and walks out. Goes, yeah, it's all right, it's a 7. And I'm like, dude, sit down and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well,
Take the proper pairing of wine with it or whatever, right?
That's what I gotta say about that. Like, what people don't get, like, of course, I had 2 weeks to play Starfield, which is plenty of time. Of course, that's what I was told. You'll have plenty of time to play the game. But there's also 2 full days where I have to be ready to build the review and produce it and get it set up and get it sent out before embargo and all that stuff, right? So there is a little bit of, I wonder if journalists, I want to say this without knocking the journalists or the industry reviewers, that I think maybe the short time with all of the things on their plate that are coming in that are either game related or review related, that they feel like they have to bang, 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 like eat really quick, put their thoughts out and get them there second one, because if you don't, then you don't get any traffic. There's also kind of a little conspiracy that you're going to be along all these other people reviewing the game, and if your review doesn't stand out, no one will care. And I think we did see a little bit of that. Maybe someone doesn't give it a 6, but maybe they give it an 8 because they think everyone else is going to give it a 9 or 10. I don't know. I don't really truly feel that way. And I also say that you're allowed to have whatever opinion you want. So I don't know.
At the end of the day, I'm just saying, at the end of the day, absolutely. Yeah. It's everybody's opinion is their opinion. It's fine. There's no problem with that. Evil Pong, don't be ridiculous. And so the thing is that you have the right to do whatever you want. You could give a game a 4, or you can give the game a 9 or a 10. Whatever you want to do at the end of the day, it's your opinion. That's fine. But I do feel that in this age, in this constant stream or trough of non-stop bombardment from digital entertainment, from streaming, from subscription services and everything else, people, and it's fine, it's just the way that the people are consuming things, they're not taking the time to enjoy it. It just feels like everybody's wolfing down everything in front of them and not sitting back and just smelling the roses for 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And as a result of that...
Yeah, and if you're a reviewer, the most important thing is to get your thoughts down honestly and then enjoy the traffic, which is the whole reason why you got the code, played the game, and wrote the review in the first place. Now, for me, number one priority for me is to enjoy the game, and I felt like that other part creeps in where I have to get my review out there and hope that people watch it and, be within the time constraints, but I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. We do have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Speaking of Starfield, we'll end this talking about Starfield by saying that right now on Steam, it is worse in user reviews than Fallout 76, which is kind of funny. Just for reference point, Mag. Fallout 76 in 2019, it was a 34%. Now it's like a 71. So yes, you may. Of course. I
have a question for you. In order to put a review on Steam, do you have to own the game or have played the game?
Yep. So it's not review bombing. People have to at least...
That's why I'm asking, yes.
I can't remember what the criteria is. I think it was an hour. You have to have an hour of playtime. And I doubt anybody's going to pay money for the game and let it sit there on the menu for an hour just so they can review bomb it. So I don't believe that for a second. It's Alex, who is big on PC, said that it's mostly full of people who are not happy with the PC port and optimization. So, yeah. Sailor Mercury says, I don't take Steam seriously then. I don't take user scores seriously. I don't really care. But all the complaints I made a few minutes ago, I take a conglomerate of industry reviews seriously because I don't know. The crowd
it's a good litmus test. The thing is, I know a lot of people and a lot of podcasters and a lot of people on YouTube and even in the chat and whatever else in the community saying, I don't care about Metacritic or this and that. I'm like, but there is another side of that. And if the other side of that is, it's a pretty solid litmus test of the quality of the game. If the game is scoring 90s like crazy, not everybody that works for those companies are fanboys of said company or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
The odds are pretty good. That the game is amazing if it's hitting 90s, right? If the game is hitting 50s or 60s, you know the game is crap. I mean, and it's pretty solid. It's a pretty solid indication that it's not going to be good. Now, the funny part is the gray area of 70 to 80. That's hit and miss. Like, for example, like I mentioned it a million times before. One of my favorite games of last gen for the PlayStation, not for Xbox, for PlayStation, was Days Gone. And that was a really low Metacritic. I think it was 70-something, I think. Not really low. I think it started at
71, 72.
70, 71, yeah, something like that. Low 70s. Now, that's the gray area, because then it's up to your personal preference, right? At that point, you're like, I'll give it a shot, and I'll see if I like it or not. I would imagine that Gotham Knights was probably in the 70s somewhere, right? So
yeah, maybe a little lower, but sure.
Maybe lower. So then it's still up to you. At that point, you're like, you know what? It was a 68, but I liked it, right? So that's up to personal preference. When you start hitting 80, 85, 88, 89, 90, those are irrefutable. You know what I mean? That's you know that it's quality. So, I mean, I know that people say, you can't really trust Metacritic, and you're not wrong. Everybody is right in their own way. It's just, there's no absolutes. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Remember that. So
we've said that so many times on this show. It seems to come up almost every week, right?
It's true. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Remember that, okay, guys? So the thing is, and gals, at the end of the day, it's up to you, but it is undeniable. Like, I mean, if it's something that's scoring really low or really high, it's not fanboyism. Odds are pretty good. The game's crap or the game's pretty awesome. So, trust in it a little bit. Give it a little bit of faith. That's what
I said, we got to use it with something else. You got to mix it with something. Mix Metacritic with something else, and
except
I think you'll
tequila.
be okay.
That's do not stop, kids. Do not mix stuff with tequila. You're supposed to have it straight, no ice cubes, no nothing, room temperature. Please.
Speaking of tequila.
Yes.
Speaking of that, we got Boner Jams with another super. He says, evening, Colt, West, Timber, and the sexual icon, Mag. Welcome back, Colt. Hope you had a great trip. Mag, brushing up on the Mortal Kombat 1 combos. Let's go. That's awesome.
Man, you know what? I that's one game that keeps slipping through the cracks right now because I got so many games bombarding me. So I'm literally going from system to system. And what's happening now that I have reignited the Xbox, is the kids are playing that bloody game upstairs with the stupid floppy things that I hate. Like the delivery service game and all that stuff, but the kids love it. There's a new one, Party Animals.
Party Animals? Well, you need to play it.
So, well, I'm watching them play it. That's more than enough. Anyway, so I got a Series S upstairs, and the kids are playing Party Animals, and because of that, I can't play my Xbox downstairs because it's logged onto my account, right? And so then I'm like, all right, fine, I'll just go play Resident Evil on PlayStation. So I do that, and then when they're done, and they go to bed, I turn off the PlayStation, then I go back to Xbox, and I'm playing Lies of P. And then the next day, they come home from school, and then they're back on Party Animals. I'm like, God damn it! And then I got to go back to PlayStation. I'm back. You know what I mean? So I'm flip-flop. I'm flip-flopping. Woo!
Oh, I got to that point where I started spending money to get my kids games. So they were using my account, 6-7 years ago, and after a while I'm like, I can't have this. I cannot have this back and forth sharing.
Yeah, it was driving me nuts. I'm gonna have to open up my son's account because my son has an account, but the thing is, I'm using Game Pass on my account, right? So
I know,
and I'm no longer game sharing with anybody right now. So I'm back solo, and then so I'm doing all that business. So every time they're farting around with Party Animals, I can't play my Xbox downstairs or down here in this room, right? So so now I got to go back to PlayStation.
We got
first world problems. Hey, I know, isn't that awful?
I know, life is so difficult. Hey, just so you guys know, we're going to talk about some Japanese games coming for Xbox, the state of Xbox in Japan, an update for Tomb Raider and Perfect Dark that you didn't see coming. We're also going to talk about this new Xbox console leak and the controller, which I think Mag and I'll have a lot of cool stuff to say. Before we do that, I got the doctor with the Canadian 5 says, Colt, what's a good year for vintage Gibson Les Pauls? He says LPJ for Les Paul Juniors. He says, thanks for the show. Just poured a double tequila, which is perfect that he says that. I don't know my way around Les Paul Juniors. I don't know what's wrong with just buying a newish one or a slightly used one, but I know obviously the late 50s are like the best ones, but you don't have 40 grand, so don't do it. Spend where you need to for guitars. Udana Kizada says the Xbox community has some funny nicknames, but can't lie. I spit out laughing when I saw Pony say "Lies of P. Spencer" in a concerned troll post. Oh, they never change. And Troll Roberts says Colt Mag and Cigars, great show. He's out there living the good life. Let's talk about the first thing, which is Phil Spencer saying they've got a bunch of Japanese exclusives in the works, and I don't have a lot to say because we don't know what those are, but he did say they're working with studios to make Xbox games and make their own games, because he was asked, Mag, about not just making other games, but making things like they did with Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon. And am I mixing those up? Blue Dragon and Lost Odyssey. Blue Odyssey and Lost Dragon. Don't get mad at me. I didn't play those games.
No. It's Lost Odyssey. It's Lost Odyssey.
It is.
No, you were right the first time. Yeah.
And Blue Lagoon. But anyway, kind of cool. Like all this stuff has been stirring for about 3 years, where Phil's been flying over to Japan a lot during the year. And this is the thing. This also comes in with, I want to hear your thoughts on this, Mag. The great Hideki Kamiya is leaving Platinum Games. What shall we do?
I'm sure they'll be just fine in the end. I really am not a monster fan of Platinum games. I will play them. Like the Nier Automata games and stuff are fun, but they can kind of get a little redundant for me. Not really my thing. But anyways, I try them. I give them a shot. The bigger question is, I have the question. I'm answering your question with a question, but why? Did he say why? Like, is he just walking away for now, and then all of a sudden 6 months later he's going to show up with a new studio? Is he going to show up on the Xbox doorstep? Is he going to show up on the PlayStation doorstep and become first party and create a new studio? Yeah, for either blue or green. Like, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, we don't know, but I saw in comments where people were like doing some investigative, kind of following the clues to think where he would probably end up next. But apparently, I'm sure he has somewhere that he wants to go, but he's not well loved because he's one of those guys that is kind of infamous on social media. If you reply to him in English, he will immediately block you. Which kind of goes away from like the global, like we're in a global gaming community, and if someone writes to me in Arabic and I can hit the translate thing, I can reply back to them the same way, or I can just reply back in English and say, hopefully they hit the translate button. But I don't know what his deal is, but he's also not very old either. I think he's probably younger than us.
No. It's I don't know, dude. It's also hard to tell. Japanese, they could be like 80 years old and they look like they're 22. So like, who the hell knows?
Right.
I don't know what it is. It's got to be the sushi and the good living, man. The clean living. It's got to be. There's no other way.
Yeah, but, I certainly don't live that way.
Oh, God, no. Are you kidding me? Look at what a disaster we are over here. Anyways, the thing is, I think that he's going to end up on... well, you know what? Actually, it could go either way. Let's have a little fun here. Let's speculate for just 2 seconds.
Okay.
We know that Lies of P. Spencer. No, I'm going to call him that for the rest of the show now because what you said, because that was so funny. Phil, I know you're listening. Okay, I'm just kidding. Please don't take
it the wrong way. Mag says it out loud.
I know you know where I live, my IP, because you're tracing it right now. Don't send anybody to the house. Okay, everything's fine. Anyways, here's the thing. I think that Phil Spencer wants. I mean, we know that he wants to increase his. Increase the audience in Japan and the presence in Japan, right? What better way to get him to walk away from Platinum, offer him X amount of dollars to open up his own studio with his own time and his, you know what I mean? Like, take your time, do what you want to do. You have a passion project you've been thinking about, but Platinum wouldn't let you do it. We'll let you do it, right? So maybe he could do something like that, and all of a sudden create a whole new studio. Then they talk about it, like, let's say at the Game Awards 6 months from now, bring him out on stage and say, hey, just saying, we just opened up a brand new studio. It's going to be part of the Xbox Game Studios in Japan. We're going to be working on new projects. Can't wait to talk about them in a couple of years, blah, 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 blah. That's one option. All right, that's a pretty good one, actually. The more I think about it, that's a pretty good possibility. The second possibility is Sony is looking at this ABK situation and saying, All right, guys, time to fill up the ranks. Let's get some more people in here. Let's grow another studio. Let's get another farm to table organic studio. right? Organically fed, grain fed only. Just so you know, all the developers were grain fed only. They were free range developers.
From full
they
to
let
fork.
them out. Yep,
Right?
yep. And there's no caging of the developers. They let them walk free every day. They eat grain and fresh spring water. Right, cage free. They're all, like I said, they're free range developers.
They massage the cows for that. What do they call it? The Kobe beef. They massage the cows and play nice music for them.
That's right. They massage the developers.
The Wagyu beef or whatever it's called. You know, you're a cook. You're a chef.
Yeah. Wagyu beef. Yeah, Wagyu beef. They massage the cows before they brutally murder them in a Mortal Kombat style fatality. Who shot you? What the hell do you mean it's a terrible idea? That was a brilliant idea. That's why you don't work for Xbox marketing. Anyways, and Sony could look at it. Sony could do the same thing. And Sony could look at this situation and say, you know what, guys, time to build up the ranks. ABK is about to go to Microsoft, Xbox, whatever. And then they could do the same thing. Offer him a studio there, too. Say, listen, we're Japanese. You're Japanese. You know, the culture's there. We don't have to, there's no barrier. There's no, you know what I mean? Get right in there. Build a studio. We'll fund it. You got to make some AAA games for us. All right? We'll put out a contract for 2 AAA games in 8 years, right? In 8 years total, whatever. Let's do an 8-year contract. You have to do 2 AAA games during that time. We will give you the money and the funds for it. Get on it, right? And then you get them over there, and then they start the marketing wheel, from the former studios of Platinum, the former creator of Platinum Studios, blah, 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 or whatever the hell they want to say, right? Same thing. So either way it works. So it'll be very interesting. Or he just is sick and tired of the industry, and he just retired, and he wants to drink Mai Tais.
Maybe. I mean, when you say all that, I picture the Scalebound incident, and I'm like, did Phil, some of that anger and frustration toward Hideki from Kamiya, like during his working with them, or was it just Platinum as a whole? I mean, when I look back at it, my personal take was that they sat there sitting on Microsoft's money and built like 8 games, and half of them were exclusive to PlayStation. It's not a good look. When I bring up him leaving the industry, I don't really think about Xbox stepping in and having anything to do with Platinum. And I'm looking at the chat while you're talking, and they're kind of like they're like, Platinum, they're like, no, don't work with him. And I guess I would agree. Why work with him? The other part of this Japanese thing, Meg, is that I love this. People try to use this as like, oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank the heavens above that Capcom was asked, what would you do if Microsoft or Xbox wanted to acquire you? What would you do? And they said, we would gracefully decline. And there is more to this than it really looks from the beginning. Meg, what are your thoughts about Capcom saying, nah, we wouldn't sell?
Not going anywhere. If there was ever a point to do it, it was before they released Resident Evil 7. You remember that? Capcom was on the ropes. They released 2 or 3 stinkers in a row. They were down in the dumps.
Really?
The stock went tumbling, and they almost sold the PlayStation. There was talks about them going
back
to play
when they put out Dead Rising 4 for Xbox, and
I think so. It was
and
somewhere
then the
around
next
that time.
Was Resident Evil 7.
Resident Evil 7 and Monster
then?
Hunter. I can't. Chat help.
Monster
help me
Hunter
out,
was massive. Yeah. Help us out, chat. What were the 2015, 16 era Capcom games that were not that great? I didn't know that Capcom had a rough patch.
Oh, they were on the ropes big time. I remember I did a couple shows with Boom. Speaking of Boom, Mr. Boomstick XL's birthday is today. So everybody in the chat, if you listen to Mr. Boomstick XL and Double Barrel Gaming, please say happy birthday to the young man. He's only
82 years old today.
Oh,
amazing.
Colt, stop it. He's 53 years young. He's doing great, and his shows are awesome. Go check him out. Go say hi and wish him happy birthday. And from Colt and myself,
to his golden years.
Happy birthday, buddy. We'll talk to you
Happy birthday,
real soon.
Boom. I'm allowed to make fun of old people. I am an old people. Yes.
You are an old people?
Yep.
Yes, and someone actually said, here we go, Street Fighter 5.
That was
Dead
probably
Rising
not.
4.
Yeah, that's right. Dark Void was
Dead
last
Rising
gen,
4.
Isaac. But, yeah.
Resident Evil 6.
The Lost Planet games were good, but the 2 and 3 were not. Anyway.
Yeah,
the funny thing about
really
this, Mag, is you're a businessman. Yes. If somebody in the media asks you, Mag, if if such and such company were to offer you a big bag to sell, would you do it? What would you say to the media?
If you own your business. Let's not lie to us. Oh, okay, but the business was sustaining. The business was sustained, and I'm making millions or billions. Then I wouldn't budge, because there'd be no point to it, because you're going to get a one-time payout, and then that's it. Yeah. Why take a one-time payout when you could continuously get that payout forever? Don't underestimate the power of greed. I am not a greedy person, but I'm just saying, when it comes to a corporation, never underestimate the power of greed, because they can want this, but why take this when they can have this, right? That's all they want. They just want more and more, and they bust my chops non-stop. Like, for example, when I work, I can make numbers, I can make budgets, I could do this, and I could hit all the goals and all the targets and be the best in Canada. All right? They'll still be like, but could you give us some more? And I'm like, why don't you go to hell? Give you some more. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you want? Stop.
You're such a gracious human being.
Oh, dude, it's so ridiculous. But anyway, that's what they are. So the thing is, Capcom, if you're making billions a year, why would you sell? Why would you sell?
I mean, the funny thing about this is, I don't care who asks this question. But if you ask the question, like, if Microsoft was to come to you, Capcom, and offer to acquire you, what would you say? Now, they have a responsibility to their people and their stockholders to say,
that's the other thing,
we would gracefully decline, because it's a bad business to look to say, oh man, we get out of here in a hurry, because it shows it shows that you're not committed to your product or your delivery, or that you would just buy off and leave. The other part of this, Mag, is that they have a fiduciary responsibility to say, heck yes, if Microsoft offers them the money behind the scenes. But to a journalist or an interviewer or anyone that asks, the answer is always, no matter who you are, no matter whether you're against the ropes as a company, whether you're the golden goose with the golden egg, or whether Colin Moriarty likes it or not, it's your responsibility to say, heck yes, if the money is right behind the scenes, but not in that interview. And I think anyone who tried to run with, oh, thank the feathery heavens above that Xbox isn't going to buy Capcom, because guess what? After they buy Sega, they're looking at Capcom. And I'll stand right here and say it's quite a possibility. Mag, am I crazy?
Yes.
Thank the heavens
above. That's it. That's the answer. Yes. I'm telling you, you know what? This will be for anybody old enough to remember Siskel and Ebert. Siskel and Ebert used to agree once in a while, but once in a while, they used to disagree.
And that's why they're not on the air anymore.
Here, and I say, well, they're dead. So it's hard to be on the air. They're hard to be on the air when you're not breathing.
With AI.
Yeah, well, that's true. They could bring them back. Yeah, sure. I watched Trump do a thong song thing with AI just the other day. So I'm like, well,
that's
if they
totally
can do
authentic.
that.
Yeah. I mean, if that's where technology is leading us, I am all for it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, when I say,
you're hilarious.
Yeah. Honestly, when I say that they should buy Capcom, I actually think they'd be better off. Yes, I think they could buy Sega, and maybe they should. But for Capcom, I think it's way better to just throw the occasional bag at them and say, hey, can you make something for us? Or, hey, do you want to launch in Game Pass? I think that's way better. That's probably where Phil is. I think it's probably.
You know what? I don't see Capcom even doing that right now. And the reason why is because their their games are just one after another. They found their formula. They found their footing. As soon as they released Monster Hunter, then they rolled right into Resident Evil 7, Biohazard. And then they just kept rolling from there. The remakes of 2 and 3, hugely successful.
Wins. Yeah.
Win. RE4 remake, absolute stunning. My game of the year so far, right? And I absolutely adore that game, even over Hogwarts Legacy. I loved Hogwarts Legacy, but just RE4 remake for me has been the banger of bangers this year for me personally, right? So that they just keep knocking it out of the park. And Village sold incredibly well, one of the biggest selling Resident Evils of all time.
Yeah, they haven't had an L since Dead Rising 4. And I like that. And I like that game. And they shut that studio down.
Street Fighter 6, yeah, that's right. They did shut them down. Street Fighter 6 did very well, and it's going to continue to do well because they have the Evo and all those all the tournament events and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So they will always do well with those, and there's no need. And I don't even see them doing any money hiding stuff. I mean, they'll do a little bit here and there, maybe with like a games as a service or an online. Isn't there a game coming for PlayStation that's Capcom exclusive?
It's probably more likely they go into Game Passes. Hargeet said in the chat, Ace Attorney just went from Capcom into Game Pass, and Abdel says Capcom was not on the 100 plus merger and acquisition list. Square and Sega were. So those are further things where it's probably more likely. Of course, I can say pie in the sky things all I want, or I can say book it. They're going to buy Capcom, but it's more likely that they would grab something in Game Pass sooner than later. And I think you're right, Mag. And Siskel and Ebert will disagree once in a while, won't they?
Hey, man, that's the way it goes. But I just don't see another thing. I don't see happening in the future. I don't know if we're going to talk about this at some point, but I'm going to talk about it. Is that you're going to see a lot less third-party games going into Game Pass day and date. I think that's going to be something that in the next couple of years, you're going to start seeing it kind of scale back a little bit as they're building those first-party studios a little bit more and getting them more established in that department. Mm-hmm. They're going to pull away from that. As we saw in the leaks, right? The prices that they're charging, these companies would charge for that, because why would they lose their shirts, right? If you've got Jedi Survivor and you're going to sell 15 mil right off the rip because Star Wars is still on the digital side, not the Disney side. The Disney, they're bombing like crazy, but the game side, Star Wars is still a respectable name. The games are still doing really well. They actually, by the way, I don't know if anybody knew this, but they actually greenlit. It was announced today that they greenlit a third game in the franchise. So there's a third Jedi game coming. They already started development.
They already got the Calvin or whatever his name is. He's already doing the mocap for it.
That's
is
right.
It Calvin?
Monaghan. It's Monaghan. I know his last name's Monaghan. So they're already working on that. You know you're going to sell 50 million copies.
Yeah,
right? Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't even said this for the show, but thanks for being here for the XNC podcast. I haven't done the station identification, but I'm Colteastwood. I'm here with Mag, middle-aged game guy, and we do this weekly show called XNC Podcast. Hit the like if you're enjoying the show. We talk about all the latest news. Mag and I tend to have a little bit of expertise. Maybe if it's not in gaming, we might have expertise in life, being old guys, but we really appreciate you being here. And shout out to the chat and everybody. I didn't read the channel members and veterans that are supporting the show, but thank you so much. I'll do that on the next one. We are also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. So if you're listening to this audio only, I hope the show comes across semi-cohesive as Mag and I talk back and forth, but we really appreciate you. Hit the like button. Let's get that up to 500. We've got a couple supers, and I want to talk about something that, boy, I hope one of my buddies doesn't get upset with me, but I got an insight into the new Tomb Raider, and we're going to talk about what's going on with Perfect Dark. Quickly, I'll just say with Perfect Dark, Embracer laid off some employees, and people at Crystal Dynamics were laid off that were considered redundant employees, people that they already have other people doing their roles. I won't get any more specific than that because this will protect my friend who told me this information, but some non-essential, non-developer creation people were let go. So Perfect Dark is still going to be okay. It's still in early development, but we know that, oh boy, I'm talking a million miles a minute, Mag, that Tomb Raider from Crystal Dynamics is coming out before Perfect Dark, and I got an insight into what the game is about, and I don't know how true it is, but it is kind of shocking. What's the premise of Tomb Raider? Mag, have you heard anything about this, or am I the only one that has heard about what Tomb Raider is about?
No, I actually don't know. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have any knowledge of what's going on with the Tomb Raider. I can't really talk about the stuff that I do know, but that's one avenue I don't. So it's all you, buddy.
Okay,
go for it.
Alvin in the chat is. Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say Evil Pong. They have not greenlit a Star Wars Battlefront 3. So
they sort of canceled the Battlefront 3, which is unfortunate because those games just kind of get better in their own ways as they've been working on as whatever the team is at EA. I mean, 2 is way better than you remember. Anyway, so yes, Alvin in the chat says that it was apparently it's public knowledge that they removed marketing people that were redundant, so non-essential people to the creation of Perfect Dark. But Tomb Raider is reportedly about, oh boy, Lara Croft is in a relationship. She is a lesbian, and she is dealing with a crisis of conscience for all of the artifacts she has stolen and the bad things she has done in that adventures that she's gone through over her career. And she is trying to get her artifacts back and return to their rightful place in a new adventure. I don't know how true this is. It's kind of interesting that they're fleshing out Lara Croft's character in her orientation or a love interest story and who she's interested in the game. But to hear that she feels bad and she's going to be returning artifacts doesn't seem like a game premise to me. So I wonder how true this is. And I'd like to know if anybody else has heard anything about this. I'm a big Tomb Raider fan since the past 10 years. Mag, you look great. You look great, by the way. I don't know. Meg, what do you think? Did you hear that? The premise?
I just walked off the show. That's how.
I'm seeing it in the replay.
Yeah, that's how I'm at a loss for. Listen, I don't care about the lesbian thing. That's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. That has no bearing on whatever. The returning of the artifacts nonsense is just.
I don't believe it.
It's. Oh my God! Am I gonna? Should I even bother? I'm not. Even
I mean, what are we going to go back? Are they just going to repurpose the maps and you just go back to those locations and drop everything off?
Scooter. By the way, sorry, I saw what Scooter said there.
Yeah.
About the pronouns thing. Yeah, that was from Heels versus Babyface. By the way, I don't know if anybody knew that, but some of that was actually considered just a parody. He wasn't actually completely dead serious. I think a lot of people missed the point there. But anyways,
I thought as much.
Yeah. And then people twisted it to something else. Returning the artifacts and whatever white guilt that she has for stealing other culture. Dude, is that not what it is? If that's exactly what they're trying to say. Because that's exactly what it is. Isn't
Lara Croft like she recovers these artifacts? She's like Indiana Jones. They belong in a museum. I don't think of Lara Croft. She doesn't steal these things for monetary gain or to become the hero. I feel like she rescues these artifacts, and she has such a deep love and respect for the cultures of the places she goes. It just doesn't sound like something that is actually going to happen. You know what it actually reminds me of is back in the 90s, my buddy and I went to the movies to see a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It was Sudden Death. It's the movie where he rescues this terrorist thing happens in a hockey rink. Okay. So my friend goes to the movie with me and we sit down and he's like, oh, by the way, and we're eating the popcorn. He goes, it's just getting started. He goes, oh, by the way, Jean-Claude Van Damme does almost no martial arts in this movie. It's not one of those. It's like one of his more serious movies. And I go, oh, okay. And he was lying because he was kicking the crap out of mascots and choking them through a dishwasher. It was awesome. But he set it up for me, which is funny. He got me prepared. It was filmed by where you live?
It's filmed in Toronto. It's and it was during a hockey game, during a Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game that they filmed that. Listen, guys, what I'm saying here is not some political nonsense. What's happening right now, if you actually look at some of the museums all over the world, and a lot of them are coming from from the British museums and things like that.
They're getting protested or whatnot.
They're all the other, from all different cultures from all around the world are saying it's cultural appropriation that you took our stuff and this, that, and the other, whatever, because you found it in whatever, Egypt, or we found it in India or New Delhi or this, you know what I mean? Or in Thailand or whatever.
I don't think you have to, argue yourself out of what you said. I just thought it was.
No. I've been saying no, I'm not. Jesus Christ, I'm not taking that back. Not 1 second, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
What that is. If that were true, and I'm not 100, but you know what? I wouldn't doubt it for 5 seconds. You know what that is? That, my friends, okay, is woke garbage. Stop doing that. Stop putting it in our game.
Blown out of proportion? What if Lara Croft.
That's what I'm saying. It might not even be the case.
Here's what it's probably fabricated from someone got wind that one of the main plot points in the movie is Lara has to return some cursed thing back to its place before some huge like world-ending thing happens, which that makes more sense. Cool. And then of course somebody from the media takes it and goes, she has to return all the artifacts because she feels guilt. It's probably more likely that she has to return some idol that when it's not in its resting place, it becomes this worldwide curse or something. That's a cool story.
Lately? That'd be a very cool story, but have you watched Hollywood lately? Like, come on, man! Like this is right up Hollywood's alley, and that's why they're on strike. And I'm like, stay on strike. We don't need you.
Let's be honest. Video game stories have been surpassing movie plot lines for quite a while now.
They've been good, and you know the other thing is too. For the most part, not all of it, but for the most part, a lot of it has been pretty. It's not offensive to anybody. It's pretty down the middle of the road there. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I don't care about any of the other stuff. Like, it doesn't bother me any of the other stuff. Like, you want to be, if you want to have characters that have pronouns, fine. Cares? Let them do it.
I mean, we got the elephant in the room.
You want to be lesbian? You want to do that?
We got to address the elephant. We got to address the elephant in the room that to many guys, Lara Croft is They've looked after her like, oh, she's so beautiful, she's so strong and powerful, and she's amazing. One day she will be mine, and then they're like, oh, she doesn't like guys. Dang it! Like, is that?
Yeah, but no. But you know what? How many girls look at guys on the beach with perfect pecs and six packs or whatever, and they're all gay? Because the straight guys are sitting over there drinking Schlitz beer with a beer belly and eating a hot dog, and then you see all
cheese fries. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like girls
eating chili cheese fries, and then you know what I mean. But the thing is, actually, the Lara Croft being a lesbian thing actually would probably make a lot of sense because you never see her with a guy, and she's always sort of doing her own thing. It's her and the butler and the mansion and whatever else, and that would make sense to me. That would make sense, and so like that doesn't bother me at all. The only thing that did bother me was that other nonsense, that cultural appropriation garbage with like, I'm going to return the artifacts because of guilt. Get out of this! I will smash.
Fills up a Ford pickup with all these artifacts. Like, well, got to get these back before sundown.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I just can't. I can't do it.
I think our idea about like the world-ending idol that has to be returned before it splits the earth in half is more likely.
Well, then why don't you and I write the damn story? Because I got to tell you, to Resident Evil, next to Resident Evil, Tomb Raider is one of my favorite series in all of video gaming history, hands down. And so, therefore, that being the case, I have absolutely no problem with whatever direction they want to go through, except for that idea. But if they're doing what you're saying, I think that'd be a great idea. I think that'd be cool. So, like, you want to do something like you took this 26 years ago. But now the prophecy of, this ancient artifact or whatever from these scrolls that we found in the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever the hell they're going to be doing, that'd be so cool. I love that stuff. I love ancient culture, like South American Latin culture is fascinating. The Aztec culture, like in Mexico and things like that. The Apocalyptica stuff. I love that stuff, man. I love that.
Yeah, I do love that.
You know what I mean? Like that's why I love the Uncharted, the Tomb Raider, all that kind of stuff, the Indiana Jones stuff. It's fascinating because it's something that I don't know, right? And therefore, and I love to learn about other cultures and things like that.
We don't know like what crazy stuff was happening long before civilization recorded it, and then you don't want to move. Give me the idol. You move that, and what's going to happen? You move it, and the earth starts to quake. I really have to ask our chat to repent. They're being so bad.
Hey man, you know what?
They're cracking me up.
They're pretty. The chat is always funny.
Mav Fun Speculation says, "Oh sweet, are there any scenes that prove it?" Mav, stop it now. Yeah, no, it is a rabbit hole.
Anyways, guys, we're just having fun because
we
don't even know if it's going to come to fruition. However, I wouldn't put it past them, not considering the way that things have been moving in certain directions, whatever, especially with Hollywood and TV and stuff like that. I could see a lot of that stuff happening and then just whatever. But anyways, we'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I I hope it's not that direction because I absolutely adore Tomb Raider, and I have been waiting for this Tomb Raider for years because the last one, which was Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I loved it. I got them all on Xbox once again. I got 1,000 out of 1,000 on all 3 of them. And actually, technically, I did it 4 times because I ended up getting the definitive edition of the 2016 Tomb Raider. Remember that? They remember they re-released the definitive edition, and I got the no on Xbox.
Oh, okay, yeah. No,
it was on Xbox.
I love those games.
I got 1,000 of 1,000. Yep, I got 1,000 of all of them. I would do it again.
This reminds me of. I don't like using the word woke, but it reminds me of the new Saints Row game where everybody was so mad that the characters were committing crime to pay off their student loans. And I played the game, and that student loans line was so buried in all of the other mayhem. Like it was almost like a joke. When I think about after all the time I played it was almost like we got to pay off our student loans, but and then you move on. Like the game wasn't like set on we have to pay off our student loans by committing crime and murdering a bunch of police officers and blowing up old ladies and walkers. But fun is fun, I suppose.
But you know what? Actually, I downloaded it for free because if you have a PlayStation Plus, by the way, I know I brought up PlayStation a lot tonight. I'm sorry, but if you have PlayStation Plus, you can download Saints Row for free.
And I would recommend. And I would recommend, Meg. You will like the game. Just skip the cutscenes because they're not funny. Just skip them, and you can still enjoy the game.
No, I watched them. They were talking about climate change and all this other stuff. They're like, well, you shouldn't steal that car because of climate change. And I'm like, going, guys, just shut up and get a car. We're gonna shoot people, okay? Like, but I don't know if it's all tongue in cheek or being serious. I don't take things like that serious. I'm not a psycho. I'm not, I'm not like
it's tongue in cheek.
I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. I think it's a lot of.
It's not funny like Rockstar. Like they don't have that. They don't have that sensibility. But
it's fun though. I'm enjoying the game. I played a little bit. It's basically like an open world Fortnite. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it kind of is.
It kind of plays like an open world Fortnite.
I feel bad that there's like 4 or 5 games this generation that suck that I really had fun with, like Saints Row, Gotham Knights. I wouldn't say Dead Island 2 sucks, but some of these games didn't get very great scores. And I ended up enjoying them, but at the end of the day, I just like to have fun and play fun games. And I played co-op Saints Row for hours with Dealer, and we would just customize cars and go blow up stuff. And we were listening to each other, not the cutscenes. So sometimes you just got to pick and choose.
Wait a minute.
What's that?
Can you play the game in co-op?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I played half my time in co-op with. I think with Dealer and maybe with Fonz. I can't remember who the other person was.
You could play the story mode and everything in co-op?
Yeah. It's like drop in, drop out and all that stuff. Yeah, it's...
that's fun. Yeah, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's just unfortunate that the game's actually pretty fun. Highlander says, with the $2, thank you so much, says, we need a Game Pass family plan. And I don't know what's going on with that, but... It's like they promised that was coming or they hinted at it and they have not delivered it. And I don't see it coming anytime soon. I think that's really disappointing. Spartan661 with a $2 says, hashtag P3 for Microsoft CEO in the next 10 to 15 years. How long do you think Phil is going to sit at this golden throne, Mag?
I think, how old is he now? Does anybody know offhand?
No, but I can guess he's probably 55, 56.
Okay, I'd say 5 years and he's done. And it'll be if I'm not mistaken, most high level executives, they'd usually have like a forced retirement, so to speak, or a forced resignment. Like they basically, when you sign on the job, you actually sign, like for some corporations, not all. I can't speak for Phil. I can't speak for Microsoft, but there are a lot of corporations that when you take a CEO job or you take a high level job, you're actually also sign your resignation as well. So that they'll say, you know what, you got the job for 5 years. After 5 years or 8 years or whatever your contract is, they already have your resignation papers already signed when you sign on. And so all they do is that they pull it out and they update that. I know that as a fact because I know some people who have been CEOs of pretty major, well, I'm not going to tell you which corporations, but for 3 major corporations that I know, North American corporations, that's exactly what they do. When they sign their contract, they sign their resignation.
They go by a length or duration, not how old, because Phil's like barely gray at this point. But that would make more sense.
Maybe
I think he's staying until 2028. So
That's what I'm saying. I think once ABK is settled, once ABK is settled and everything is kind of rolling, the new gen starts. I think he's going to back off, and they're going to give it to what's her name there? My God, her name is just escaped. You see what happens when you're old?
I was going to ask you that.
Sarah Bond. 100% is going to be Sarah Bond. By the way, I got to address three things very quickly. First thing, Nicholas Branch, thank you. He just said, Mag, you're the best, dude. I just want to say thank you for listening and thank you for being a fan of ours. And Capono 5150, Mag, it's not free. Well, I mean, technically you're right because you're paying for PlayStation Plus. However, this is not a PlayStation Plus subscription game. This is
it's your free game for paying for online. Yeah,
that's it. So it's not like it's like the games with gold thing.
I'm going to side with you, Mag. I'm going to side with you. It's basically free. If you're paying $70 a year, it's like a $3 game. But you need it online anyway if you're playing mostly on PlayStation. So I'm willing to say it's free and stop it. It's okay.
Well, you can cancel your PlayStation Plus subscription and you still keep the game because it's now yours.
That's pretty cool.
It's like Games with Gold used to do that, right? So I mean, even if you canceled your subscription, you got to keep those games in your library forever. So it's the same idea. But yeah, you're not wrong, Capono. You're not wrong.
Yeah, Xbox buy PlayStation, please. Let me.
That's how we started the show. That's how we're ending it. Who cares?
Snow Dragon with the Canadian 5. Thank you, Snow Dragon. He says, why doesn't Xbox go full PC? Well, they are. He said, make PC boxes with living room friendly UIs. Devs could set recommended PC settings for each box for simplicity. This is so perfect that you said this because I was giving this speech on Rand's show where I think it's time for Xbox to stop forcing developers to make Xbox console versions of games and just launch the same game that goes on ROG Ally, Steam Deck, or PC. You load the game up. I'm sorry you're an Xbox console owner, but here's the game and you got to go in and change the settings to get it to run correctly. I know that sounds psychotic, but it would make so many games so much better. It would give you the option to go 60 on most things if developers don't. Here's the reason why, before I give you the mic on this, Mag. Developers have to sit there and make a bespoke version on the XDK that runs on Series S, Series X, sometimes the Xbox One, and PC, and they have to do it on that platform. It takes more time, and I would like them to get away from where it's easier for them to make a quasi PC version that just slams into the Xbox. They just cut half the settings out, and they are able to work on getting the game running better or looking better because they don't have to do that specific Xbox version. Because it's a weird thing for me to say, but if you own a ROG Ally, you can say, let's see how this thing runs on here. You change a couple settings or you change a high, medium, or ultra setting and it does it for you. And then you're going. Like, they don't have to make a handheld version. And Xbox is going to where games can be on phones, handhelds, TVs, and console. Mag, is that psychotic?
No, not at all. I think that actually would solve a lot of problems. And it would also cut back on a lot of development time, right? And R&D. And going into basically a closed door system to have to develop for this and then develop for this and then develop for this and then develop for this. And if you were to do something a lot more universal in that way, you're absolutely right. I think that would be the most beneficial way to do it. And perhaps that is what they're going to, maybe it's going to be the next generation is going to be a hybrid of said product that you just sort of, laid out on the table for all of us here to listen to, right? So you never know, man. You never know. I mean, that would make the most sense to me. I'm not a tech guy, but from my perspective, I think that would be the best option moving forward, right? Okay, so that it would make things a lot easier in the long run.
I think what I said when I set it up for you, it sounds like crazy and not wanted by the majority of fans, but there has to be a middle ground.
Yeah, but
like
if it's
that makes it easier for everybody. Yeah.
Right, so that if it's user-friendly in a way that it's actually, like, the interface is actually very simple to use. I mean, if anybody can figure out the new iPhone 15, you could figure this out. You know what I mean? Like, you can figure out what settings you want to do and everything else. So, I mean, if anybody could do that, you could do this. And it doesn't have to be as specific as a PC, right? Where, like,
because there's like 25 settings there on most games.
Yeah, like if you could simplify it, but at the same time make it easier on the development side, that would make a lot of sense to me, right? Yeah, so that you'd be able to maximize. You know what I mean? That you'd be able to like absolutely maximize your product, right? And give you the best
most PC games will allow you to go in and start with a ultra, high, medium, or low setting. And if you just kind of like gated that off and just left it at those 4 settings, you're basically getting quality versus performance. But Snow Dragon, that's a really good super. It's too early for us to ask for that, but I think it's the right way to go. A PlayStation and Nintendo will continue to make their bespoke version because they're in the console market. Xbox really is all about, if you don't like Starfield at 30 FPS, we absolutely want you to play it on PC and play however you want. And I know console guys don't like that. I'm going to get in and talk about this new console and the new controller. Spartan661 with the 5s. Thank you, Spartan. He says, Xbox was like C-Bone letting PS know retaliation is a must. C-Bone? C-Bone. I don't know what the C-Bone reference is. Darkwave Mortem gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you so much. Very, 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 very nice to do that. You get early access to videos. I got to get back to making videos. It's been a crazy month. Trell Robert says, get the likes up, chat. He puts a thumbs up. Thank you, Trell. Let me read a couple more. Nobody says, yo, I just realized we might have to have a Tomb Raider versus Indiana Jones with them both releasing in 2025. He might be right. He says, I think Indy is going to be better personally. I wish we had time to talk about Indiana Jones. I don't know if we will, but thank you, nobody. Tricks are for Trey says, love your show. Sad I missed you at PAX Colt. Mag, looking forward to that pasta video. You have promises.
Oh,
there,
yes, huh? I am doing a video coming up very soon. I believe I reached out to you specifically. Is that I'm a little delayed because my house is under renovation. So I kind of have half a kitchen now. A couple of weeks ago, I had no kitchen. Now I have half a kitchen. And the other thing is it's not good for filming because you're just going to be looking at like dusty drywall and stuff, right? Because I'm redoing like the whole first floor of the house. So when it's all said and done and everything's settled, and I'm actually going to be out of country for a couple times in October, when that's all settled down and I'm back, I will be doing those videos. And I did not forget about that video. Carry on, Colt.
Awesome. Skill at Will and Pushing Polygons are saying, Colt, there's a lot more with optimization. Skill at Will says, you'll still need to make level of detail models, etc. Lighting changes for hardware differences, so it takes a lot of dev time to create those differences between medium, high, and ultra. And I know I simplified that conversation a lot, but I want to reiterate that there's got to be a middle ground where there's a difference between the bespoke version and the PC version. You meet in the middle and you kind of have this, we didn't have to specialize it as much. We know what hardware we're working for. It's AMD. We know what the shaders are, blah, blah, blah. I don't know all that stuff, but there's got to be a way where both parties would say, you know what? I think this is a better idea, but I'm just kind of shooting that up into the air and hoping it sticks. Matthew says, Mag, I wish your shirt said classically hip. What does it say?
It says classically trained. Check it out.
Oh yeah, with the classic.
With the original NES controller. Yeah, classically trained.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's talk about this new Series X. I'll preface it and then give this to you, Mag. The new mid-gen refresh Series X is supposed to be $500 in November of 2025 in 2 years. Next to the PS5 Pro, which will be 1.5 to 2 times more powerful for the same price, basically. But the Series X mid-gen refresh has 2 terabytes instead of 1 built in. No disk drive. Mag, this sounds more like a problem to me than a solution.
Pray tell, why do you feel that way?
Well, they're taking away the disk drive, which people can say, oh no, preservation. But they're discontinuing the disk-based Series X. Of course, there are 15 or 12 million of them out there if you want to buy one secondhand. But if you want to play discs, you have to hold on to that Series X original or buy one used. Right. You're looking at, I don't know what the power difference would be between the Pro, but you already have a digital non-disc based PS5 selling for $400, and you're going to sell a $500 digital Series X, the same power as the PS5 digital, when a Pro is going to come out the same year, which is much more powerful.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. I know that they mentioned that before the leaks, actually. You remember that a couple of weeks before the leaks, they talked about that the Series X was the mid-gen refresh? And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? It came out 3 years ago. How could that be the mid-gen refresh? Matthew Barrios, that's really funny, by the way. He said something funny in the chat.
I see it.
Yeah, about charging my Tesla with a gas power generator. That's funny. That is a problem. And the thing is, I understand, up until the Xbox One X, that was the era of we're not going to lose the power narrative, right? And we are never going to lose that power narrative. You're about to lose that power narrative in about a year and a half. If this truly comes to fruition the way that we foresee it to happen. If there is going to be a substantially more powerful PS5 Pro coming, which we've heard is the case, then yeah. And then if they're going to be using basically the Series X guts into this new hybrid model, digital model, then yeah, it's going to get trounced in that department. Now, arguments could be said that I know it's a trigger word for some people, but I mean, arguments could be said that the power of the cloud. If there's a cloud integration, you'd be able to upgrade. It'll be the same as like the same specs as like a PS5 Pro or something like that. If they could take off some of that horsepower and and utilize it with the cloud.
I worry about them supplementing with the power of the cloud when now they're bringing xCloud offline, like half of it, because people are not able to log on. They're seeing big queue times for
that's
xCloud.
The problem.
They pared it back.
That's the problem. Yeah, and that's the problem at the end of the day, which is how I was going to sort of dovetail right into that story, is the problem is at that point is that you have to understand that people just don't have good internet. Great internet everywhere in the world. It's not. That's why it tends to not take off the way it does. Is there are pockets. You can go to the major cities. At least some of the major cities up here in Canada. Our internet is twice, sometimes 3 times faster than anywhere in the U.S. Right?
Yeah, I mean the national average in the U.S. or the average in the world is well above the minimum requirements. But if you live in an area where it's not, like my brother lives on the other side of town, he uses satellite internet, and he's like.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I got 4 gigs up, 4 gigs down because we have fiber optic internet here. Everything's buried, right? They removed all
I don't have that.
The on-air stuff, and they dug up all our front lawns, and they came in and put fiber optic now. So now we got 4 gigs up, 4 gigs down. And it's ridiculous how fast it is, right? And but that's us. That's not everywhere. Yeah, and so if you're trying to go for a global market, and a global market doesn't have those kind of capabilities. Even in Canada and other parts of Canada, they don't have that internet. An hour north from here, they do not have that kind of internet capability, right? All of a sudden, you go an hour north, it's cows and dial-up. Okay, so Jeez. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
So, oh yeah, dude. Like I could be in the middle of the wilderness with literally with bears and moose, 1 hour drive north of me, and then all of a sudden, where I am here, I'm still only about 45 minutes from the city of Toronto. That's how. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at the demographics of that kind of thing, that's what happens all over the world. And if you're trying to reach a global market, you're not going to do it that way, right? So the internet is going to be an issue. So therefore, you will lose the power narrative. That is a problem. Losing the disc. Now, if I understand correctly, chat, help me out here. And Colt, did PlayStation also offer the fact that they're going to have an external disk drive that you could purchase separately, so that if you want to continue on the digital only,
there's
that
like
you can still buy a disc.
There's a report of that, but we've yet to see anything about PlayStation using an external disk drive. Right. I mean, I know that where there's smoke, there's fire when it comes to that kind of thing, because I've heard it from multiple sources. I just don't see the market in. If PlayStation made an external disk drive, an external dual layer Blu-ray drive would probably be $75 or $80, maybe even $100. And I just can't see a lot of people buying that just in case they want to play a disc, because I think the majority of the market has moved digital only, whether we want to hear that or not. Yeah, I mean, I bought one physical game in probably 5 years. And I just got it, actually. Yeah. You know why? Because it was so ridiculously cheap that I couldn't deny it. I bought, what the hell is it, Tiny Tina Wonderland? I thought it was a mistake because my son was getting his pre-order for Spider-Man, and so I just was floating around the store. And I looked in the bargain bin, and I'm like, it was $8.99. I swear to God. And I'm like, so with tax, whatever, it was like $11 or whatever. And I'm like, is this real?
And the guy's like,
I mean, that game's probably that much now, but good job.
No, it's not. If you go I checked it. I checked it on the Microsoft, on the Xbox store, and I checked it on the PlayStation store. Guess how much it is? $89.99.
What?
$89.99. Dude, I will send you a screenshot.
Yikes.
$89.99 on the PlayStation store for the digital. And actually, I haven't checked the Xbox. Someone, you got faster fingers than me. Check to see what it costs on the Microsoft store right now for Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Jeez.
I found it there for $8.99. And so I was like,
a game worth playing, by the way. It's pretty fun.
I love the Borderlands series. I love the Borderlands series.
You'll like that game. It's fun.
And I missed that one, and I just happened to look down. I asked the guy, I go, is this for real? And he goes, you guys like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I paid for it, but I waited till he rung it in first, and I paid. And then I go, by the way, look at how much is in the store. So I showed him after, and he looked at it, and he goes, holy well, I can't tell you what he said because you get demonetized. But the swear words that came out of his mouth, he's like, yeah, holy moly, right. And so, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you charged me $11 for something that I would have to pay $100 for digital. So there is something to be said about physical once in a while. Just saying.
Yeah. Nerds and Other Legends says, I believe the Blu-ray disc can only hold 50 gigs. I think it's 100. It's a dual layer Blu-ray. Holds quite a bit of information. I don't think any game has outpaced the storage of those discs. As far as I know, I made that mistake and assumed they'd go over. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the disc-based Series X. That's not what I wanted to see from Xbox. Was here's the Series X. We just took the disc drive out and increased the storage. I don't know. I'm at the point where I'd rather just uninstall a game if I'm full. I have no problems with that, especially since I can download a game at 400 megs on cable internet, which is all I have. But let me see what else is on this thing. I think it is a problem if this PS5 Pro is real, and I know it may not be 1.5 times or double the power, or what. It only needs to be slightly better to get you over that hump. And the PS5 Pro would be a good deal for people on PlayStation. But the cool thing is this Project Sabile, the white controller, which is like cloud ready, has what you've always asked for with an Xbox controller, Mag. It's got actual haptics in the middle of the thing. Do you know the other details about this thing? It's got
yes.
Tell us.
That is the only thing that's got me excited. I am excited for this product. I got to tell you, when someone asked me about the console, they said, are you going to buy the new console? I said, no. I'm like, I already own it. It's right there.
Same.
It's right over there, right back over there. And then I got another one upstairs, and then I got another one upstairs. Why do I need another one that literally does the same thing? So, no. But the controller has got me excited. I am dancing in my pants for that thing. I mean, we're talking about haptic feedbacks like the DualSense 5. I think the DualSense 5 is the best controller I've used probably ever. Not for the comfort or whatever. I mean, the comfort, actually, I have no problem with that. But the little nuances that they add in there and the speaker in there and all the other kind of cool stuff, I absolutely love it. Now, all of a sudden, Xbox is going to be doing. Look at that! What is that? What is that?
I forgot. I was going to give these away today, and I need to figure out how I'm going to give these out to someone in the chat. But these are wired controllers that were sent to me. They're Xenon brand. They're both 360 style controllers made for Xbox Series consoles. They've got the screenshot share button in the middle of them. I need to put them higher. I'm sorry. They're pretty cool, but they're wired. And I was asking my friend about this. Why are these wired? And it's because Xbox does not allow third party to use their wireless protocol. They don't just give that out. So if you see a great third party professional controller, it will be wired. But I don't know if anybody wants this, but even if you didn't want to use it very much, you can unplug the USB cable, which just connects it to your controller or to your console. You can set it up as a cool looking, this is a black sparkle, and this one is like a blue iridescent shade, and they're both 360 style. So you can just say, man, I loved it when the controllers were like this. I will have my moderator pick 2 people in the chat, and then I've got to get a way for you to get a hold of me. Please follow me on Twitter at Colteastwood. That is at Colteastwood, one word. That's the best way. We will figure out how to get that out to you to the winners before we end the show, which is happening in a few minutes here. Yeah, I'm excited about the controller too, man. I'm excited.
Listen to this, man. Haptic feedback. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna send this out directly to all the Microsoft, Xbox Game Studios, Bethesda, every ABK. If you're gonna develop games for the future of Xbox, you better haptic the crap out of every single game. I want to feel every pitter patter of every horse, of every leaf, of every gust of wind, just like the PlayStation does. You walk across a creaky bridge in Resident Evil 4, you literally feel the wind and you feel the creaking of the wood under your feet breaking as you're walking across. It is remarkable. Okay, do that. So there's that. There's also I don't know what VCA haptics. It says VCA haptics double as speakers. They hid the speakers in the nubs of the controller, like the bottom parts of the handle of the controller. So you're gonna get that 3D audio kind of slow, sort of pumping up towards your face. And that's great. So you're going to have the haptic feedback. You're going to have the built-in speakers, which the thumbsticks are going to be much quieter, so you're not going to hear the clickety-clack, right?
And they're a little bit, the thumbsticks are also a little bit bigger. Yes, and there's no adaptive triggers, so no resistant triggers on this. I sort of believe this may not be a thing because it seems weird to go mid-gen refresh and add an amazing feature like haptic feedback that wasn't there in the beginning of the gen. But the way that Xbox has been pushing controllers, I think their controller sales, Mag, is way bigger than we realize.
Oh yeah,
they must make bank off them, and I think they're just thinking
they make bank off them.
Right, I think they're thinking we are going to people will happily replace. This will be their new controller, and they'll put them in design lab. Like,
I will never look back. I will never look back to my Xbox controllers if and when they sell these separately. Oh, dude, I've got literally you can't even see because the colors match the table. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 controllers there, 7 right over here because I'm using that one, and I've got 3 more upstairs, so that's 10 controllers, 11 controllers. All right, I will literally retire all 11 of those controllers the minute this thing comes out.
I will never go back to
another controller.
I am exactly the same. Like I've got the Gears 5 controller, which is phenomenal. I've got the Age of Empires one that is really beautiful. I've got the Master Chief Elite. I'm talking about my favorite ones. I have the 20th anniversary one. I know you can't see them back there very well, but they're really special controllers. But I would happily, they'll just be a They'll just be a collector's item at that point. Just like this one, I have an Elite V2, and I happily use this Starfield controller because it's so gorgeous and feels so great. But if that was sorry, I'm going on a tangent, Mag. There's literally 2 things that Xbox didn't do that were next generation. One was a brand new dashboard, which I'm totally fine with. That dashboard's fast. They didn't do a new dashboard, and they didn't do a upgraded controller. And if they put haptics in, it's like, oh man, you're 5 years too late. But I love this controller. Chat, what do you think?
Dude, I'm so excited for that controller. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna take a small team. I know they'll do this because they have the resources and they have the people to do it. Take a small team, go back to some of your legacy titles, games, whatever, upgrade them for this, which they've basically done anyway for the Series X and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And go back and do all your legacy titles, your Gears of Wars, your this, that, whatever, and start adding your haptics in, like Sony did it. Like a lot of their PS4 games that they brought and they did PS5 versions of the game, they up-res them, better frame rate, and then they added all haptic feedbacks and all. Like I got the platinum about a couple of weeks ago on Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, right? And they added the haptics and all that other stuff and the 60 frames and everything else of the up-res, and it was like a whole brand new experience. And I played it on the PlayStation 4. Now I played it on the PlayStation 5. Whole new experience. It was worth every single minute that I played it, and a lot of it was due to the controller.
About that. I bet Ghost would be great with the haptics, with the wind, you hear and the tall grass.
Yep, you actually hear the wind blowing through the speaker. You can actually almost feel, like when you're going through like the tall grass and stuff, you can actually feel the tall grass on the controller when you're sneaking through the tall grass to murder people, whatever. And it's just. Yeah. Do that for Xbox. Do that for the Xbox games. Do that for your Halos, your Forzas. I want to feel everything.
this goes back to the theme that you and I started the show with, where you have to push the competition to do great things. And this pushed Xbox to say, even if we do it midway through the generation, we have to have haptics. The other cool thing is, here's my Starfield controller. This new controller supposedly comes with a rechargeable battery pack that you can take out, which means, I'm thinking it means it still has a battery well. If you want to put AA's in, you can. If you want to put in AA rechargeables, you can. If you want to put in a rechargeable pack it comes with, you can. If you want to put in your own rechargeable pack, you can. If you want to plug it in, you can. Which I know people make fun of the AA things, but the Xbox controller lets you power your controller however you want. If you like hot swapping AA's from your rechargeable pack, I used to have some in the wall. If you want to just dock your thing on a controller charger, you can. I feel like with my PS5, it's as amazing as DualSense 5 is. The only thing I can do is plug it in. That's all I can do. I don't have any other choice. Plug it in, grab the other one, and hope it's charged. And I think that's cool. I don't know. That's cool. What do you think, Mag? You all right with that? Battery pack?
Yeah. The battery thing doesn't affect me in either way. I think it's just, as long as the damn thing works, and even the battery life, a lot of people complain about the DualSense 5 battery life because of the haptics. It drains faster. But honestly, after about you could still play at least 5 hours, and then it starts to, it'll say, you need to, or maybe even 6 hours, and you see the thing going down. How long are you gaming? Don't you have something to do with the rest of your day? Don't you get up to go to the bathroom, eat something, go, take care of your house, go cut the lawn? You know what I mean? Do something.
You
can't
attacked.
sit there for. Well, you know what? I know sometimes you could do it. There are days where you do that. And
the
you have
Starfield thing was ridiculous. It was 7 hours a day on at least. It was horrible. It was horrible.
I mean, you got to get up and do stuff. But yeah, there is. Yeah, if you have multiple controllers, you keep one charged at all time. You play the other one, you flip it out. But at the end of the day, even if if you have two controllers and you do one charge, that's still 12 hours of gaming. If you're gaming more than 12 hours, you should probably go see a psychiatrist. So, you know what I mean? There's probably something else going on there. Sailor Mercury,
with
to
the
answer your
PS5, you do have to leave that thing plugged in when you're done with your session.
Oh,
otherwise you get burned.
Yeah, true. Sailor Mercury, sorry, not you. I read the wrong person. Ted Unseth. He asked, Mag, do you see any last second changes to the XSX refresh? Better ray tracing or faster SSD? Yeah, because those emails, a lot of those emails were old, and a lot of them were from last year and even up to 3 years ago. Odds are pretty good that they will pivot, and they will do some more things to try and combat the PS5 Pro. It's not all doom and gloom. They are going to combat the PS5.
And it seems like half of the stuff that was covered that we didn't even get into tonight already happened or already was changed. And I don't know if we'll get into it next week, but I plan on today talking about the Bethesda roadmap, which we won't talk about tonight because it's far too late. But I will say this, Mag, that cylinder-shaped Series X is never, ever going to be the shape of that console, ever. Maybe rounded corners, but not a cylinder shape. It would be bigger. It would be pointless. There's absolutely no way that thing is shaped like a black cylinder. I
said, a lot of people taking these leaks as face value. We got to keep in mind, a lot of these are prototype stuff, right? It's not fact.
I think their graphics person probably just, they're like, okay, we need an image for the Series X digital, and the person was like, why do a cuboid shape again? Let's mix it up and make it rounded. And they're like, somebody was probably like, it ain't gonna be rounded, but whatever. It's just internal. No one's gonna see it. Oops.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
The Sosa says, I like the cylinder. The cylinder can look cool, but knowing how those internals are packed into that rectangle, and I know it very well, that the only way that's a cylinder is if they keep that same form factor and make it bigger so you can have the extra make it round. Maybe it would be an obelisk. What's the word? Obelisk would be like an egg shape, but yeah, if it was more wide, whatever. I don't think it's. I think maybe rounded edges would be about. Maybe the rounded front. Scott Gamer Dude says maybe the front is just round. Maybe it's box. Get a box, and then it just is rounded in the front for fun. But
Well, I want to figure eight for myself. Actually, I want to figure eight, or or a pretzel. Or what they can do is they can actually take it like a circus clown, and like they do with the balloons. I want you to turn it into a poodle. So let's go, and then turn it into a poodle, and then that's all there is to it. I'll have a poodle.
Look at what Sotness called the new Xbox in the chat.
X-Pipe. Actually, Stotness there said something really funny earlier on the chat. I literally almost spit out my water, but I can't repeat what he said.
We have the best chat. Like
today,
I was kind of in a bummed out mood, and I just sometimes like to do a show. It's amazing to have a podcast. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know how to explain that to you, but just sometimes I like to get on here with a big smile and have fun with my friend Mag, and turning on the camera, and Mag is such a joy. Like, he just boosts my mood immediately, and then you guys in the chat are just the extra nitrous, inhaling nitrous. You're the extra boost, not nitrous as in, oh yeah, ha ha. But no, you guys are amazing. I really appreciate you. Let me read some of these supers for we close out here. Meat Gamer says, I'd argue they already losing the power narrative. Yeah, Xbox kind of has gone away from that power narrative, and I'll give you the kicker. I think the developers still haven't gone all in with what the consoles can do on either side. I just hope things get better and better. Every generation, the console games look better than they did at the beginning. That's just how it is. Jax82 says, Returnal is still $70 on the PlayStation Store. I paid less than that at GameStop. And you must be talking for a physical version of the disc.
Yeah.
My moderator says Tiny Tina is $20 on the Xbox Store right now, but other people saw it for $28 on PlayStation. So
it just went on sale. And actually, I just saw it. I went to the Microsoft Store, and it said $79.99, and then there was a line through it, and it says $28.99 on sale right now.
Okay. Awesome.
Well, when I bought it a week ago, it was $79 on the Xbox Store, $89 on the PlayStation, and I screenshot both. I screenshot both of them. Now they're on sale right now, but in a week from now, they'll probably be right back up to $79.
Right.
Yeah, they'll be right back up there. So there's something to say about it, about the physical once in a while, right? Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think that the digital would always be cheaper, and somebody DM'd me about that on Twitter X today, that arguing that for all of the things that go into retail and physical and retail space and everything, print, materials, that digital games should always be $5 or $10 cheaper than physical, but physical is just its own animal. We've got two winners, one for each of the controllers. Matthew gets the iridescent 360 style controller, and Scooter, who's also a channel member who got picked by one of my moderators at random for a thumbs up, gets the sparkle black. These controllers are just so cool looking. They have not been opened. One of my channel members is like, Colt giving away his junk. Somebody sent me a couple of these, and I gave one to a good friend who's a good friend of the channel. But I wanted to give these to you guys because you guys are amazing, and I want to do more of stuff like this. So Matthew and Scooter, please leave me a message. How can I get you to? Please DM me on Twitter, and also I want you to leave a comment once the video is posted so that we can talk there, and I can figure out a way to get your information, because I'm going to be shipping them to you, so I'll know where you live or where you work or wherever, and we have to be very careful so I don't show up someday in my underwear and go, did you wash your PS5 today? But I love you guys so much, and I want to make sure I do that. And I know that when you send stuff out, I will be as careful with your private information. I'll just share it with Mag. Mag and I will show up to your house. No big deal. Nothing creepy. No big deal. Mag, we've gone way over. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get out of here, and we'll talk about the roadmap of games. We've got more stuff to talk about next week. But
we will.
Meg, I've meant to ask you off the air, but you're kind of changing some stuff with podcasts. Do you have anything new to announce yet?
Nothing. No.
Nothing yet?
Nothing. I've been sort of slowly working on something, but it's not working out. The timing and stuff is not working out right now. Okay. So I have to put things on ice. And when it comes to fruition, then everybody will obviously know about it. But until then, until then, you're gonna see me all over. You're gonna see me all over TikTok and YouTube and Twitter with my antics. That's where I drop my videos, are on Twitter and TikTok. So follow me there, Middle Age Game Guy or the Mag. You could find me either one. You'll find me there on either system. And then, of course, you'll find me here on YouTube every week here with Colteastwood. So that's where I'm going to be dropping my content. Is going to start up again in about, let's say, about 10 days from now, when all the renovations should be done, and then I will start doing videos again. And I've gotten a lot of requests. Funny enough, I got a lot more requests for not only Ponymaster 420, which, by the way, I got some new outfits for Ponymaster 420 because it's Halloween season, and you know what that means? The Halloween stores are open, and so you can buy all kinds of unicorn stuff for real cheap right now.
You walk around the store and you're like, what can I do with this?
Wait till you see the new outfits that I bought for my videos. Oh my God. It's got so many, I can't even talk about it, but when those things come to fruition, you guys will see it also. Anyways, guys, awesome. It was a great show. You have one more super chat before we go from Spartan661, but either way, chat, everybody, you guys are so awesome. Hit the like on the way out. Tell all your friends. We got to crack 1,000 again. I don't know where everybody, the algorithm is killing us. So get everybody back over here. Get back on the show, man. I want to bury Randall Thor. I want to destroy him. I want to destroy his show, and I want to be the biggest Xbox show on the planet. Let's make it happen, folks.
We can make it happen. We can be more exciting sometimes. But James Thomas with the $2 says, I think new controller for Starfield mods. Yeah, gosh. Starfield mods are already cooking up right now. Spartan661, thank you for the 5, says, the best looking games show from first and third party towards the end of the console because they learn how to push the consoles. Absolutely. As far as what I'm doing, I don't know. I might dig into some of these leaks and talk about how Xbox really is pushing forward, because I really do think, Mag, half of these things here have either fizzled out or they have changed or they just don't really make sense. So Guerrero Shelley, Randall Bohr. That's not nice.
I just saw that too. Rand, you know I'm kidding, eh? I love Rand. I love Rand. Listen, if I don't talk about you, that means I don't like you. Or if I don't talk to you, that means I don't like you. The fact that I bust Rand's chops every single show, I love the guy. So I just do it as a good sport and just for fun. So nobody take it too seriously. Anyways.
It is an amazing community. Thank you for everything. I'm going to rest up. Thank you. We're going to get out of here and hit the like button on your way out. Hope you guys had a good time. Enjoy your evening. Play some Crew, play some Starfield, play some Party Animals. You'll laugh your heads off. We're out of here.